Oh, I lost you. There you go. Oh, you're back. Good. Hey, everybody. Sorry we're a little late. It's all my fault. I had a little momentary break, okay? And that is what I'm not supposed to do. I discovered is just sort of realize that I could take a break because then I got sidetracked with time. So we are here with Inara, and she's going to be talking about the power of the mind. Inara is actually born in Latvia, and she is in UK now.
Yeah.
And she's got a lot to share, and it's really awesome. So let's just start out with, where did this all shift for you? How did the journey change?
So maybe I will start like where it started. So it's kind of like in 2006, my cousin introduced me to a movie, The Secret, and I'm really grateful because this is when I understood what happened and why at some points I could do things that is kind of impossible, but it didn't work for me every time. So and I was looking and like discovering the law of attraction, how it works, so how I can manifest it every time in my life. So, and this is when it started, but the real shift happened about a year ago when I thought that what I do is not really what I wish to. And I wanted to have some change. And I started to follow everyone from the movie Secret again. And one of these people was Bob Proctor. And I finally understood what is the missing piece is, that it's not only that it's kind of more about the law of vibration, it's not about the law of attraction, like it is secondary law. And when I understood that, this is when I start to manifest things in every part of my life. And because of that, I'm now a consultant in Bob Proctor PGI Consulting, and I facilitate one of his programs, Thinking into Result. So, and mind is the power.
That's very good. So it really, at the time when your cousin invited you, you had no idea, right? You were just, did you want to go?
Well, it was a multi-level company. So it's kind of like the idea was interesting and I went there. I wasn't sure if this is what I want to do, but then it's kind of like they showed a little bit of secret and I was like, oh my God, this is something impossible. So it's kind of dragged me into, and I was involved with this company, but this is not the part that I would love to do. And obviously, like I quit from that, but the secret and the ideas that they were sharing, they stayed with me. And for that, I'm really grateful. And I think everyone have to watch it, but I can tell that there is much, much more than just the law of attraction.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, there is so much more. So why don't we just talk about that? Because I'm not the one that's going to give the opinions. I'll support you. So what is the more than the law of attraction?
So I like to talk, it is your power free. So, and it is more, well, imagine that we have a mind and we actually put our attention to our body. So the physical pain or maybe the physical pleasure and like what is happening out there in the physical world. But the mind is everything and it is kind of like extension of everything. And the body is merely a servant. So what you think manifests through your body. So I would say that the mind is superior. And we have conscious and subconscious mind. So when I talk about 3 levels, I talk about thoughts on conscious mind, feelings on subconscious mind, and then actions in the body. So if you just think, I want to have a beautiful house, it wouldn't happen because you are only on one level. You actually have to feel that you have the house. Imagine that you walk in there, feel how the smell in the house, how you open a door, what a view you have. So when you have this feeling in your emotional mind, then you are already on 2 levels, and then you have to move in actions. You have to take a step in order to buy this house. So, and it is kind of like a simple thing, but it is about everything. And a lot of people think if I visualize, if I think, then everything is happening. But just visualizing, it doesn't mean that you're feeling it and you're acting on it. And if you don't feel and act, nothing happens.
So is that kind of like fake it till you make it? Like, you know, real estate agents are taught that one years ago, right? Just go get the car, look like you're successful, do this thing. And
it's not about faking, showing the others. It is about believing yourself. You have to see yourself that you are there. It's not about showing others that I'm so great. And sometimes the people who do that, they might not feel inside and they are not there. It is about yourself, because for mine, it doesn't matter. Are you thinking about the past, present, or future? Because every time when you're coming back to the past where something bad happened, you had a fight, you have feeling, you emotionally relieve, and you can feel the pain about that. So you're bringing from the past. So what makes a difference if you feel this about the future? You create a picture how you want to live your life, and you feel it inside of you. So just forget what's happened before, how it is now, and think about what is in future. And then you bring this more into your life, and you have to act. By faking, it wouldn't work. You have to believe in yourself and then act, and then when it comes into your life.
okay, so I love your passion, by the way. It's very great that you are totally, completely convinced. So I'm going to ask you all the questions that are coming to me. So I'm a person, and I'm going, yeah, but how do I act? Because I want to believe it, but I still sort of doubt it. So what should I do in order to believe it?
Okay. So everything what happens is recorded in our subconscious mind. We have the programs, what we believe or what we don't. So if you don't believe, like deep inside, some people say, I believe, but these beliefs comes in conscious mind because they did affirmation, then impressed it, and they think like most of the time about it. But you have to impress on your subconscious mind. The one of the thing is that you actually the visualization, sorry, my pronunciation. So visualization, I like to write 100 times over and over the sentence. So I start to get feeling. It's not impressing just, yeah, I'm thinking. It is about impressing with the feelings and then moving into action. For example, if I was afraid about recording videos before, and by just thinking and imagining how I will record a video and have feeling how the people will like my videos and everything, yeah, I'm there in my mind, but until I press the button and I record the video, nothing is happening. And every time when we do something new, we will have fear, anxious, and worry about what is happening, how it is working. But you have to do it once, second time, third time. Every time it feels easier. You might have this fear a couple of times. And at some point, when you are in comfort by recording the videos, you feel great. And it is about every part. So you sometimes have to I always suggest my clients, do the step even if you don't believe. Well, while you're doing that and you work into trying to believe, trying to suppress this, you will get into motion, and at some point all three things will be aligned. If you're waiting when you will start to believe and then act, and you act and it doesn't really work first time, you stop believing. You have to act and try to impress the beliefs at the same time. So, and it doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't. Does it take 21 days to change a habit?
Well, I would say about this, there is a good study that it was with the cosmonauts and lenses. So when they put in lenses, they see the world upside down. So if you have a cup here, they're actually reaching like different sides. So you have to use to how you take a cup and spoons. And in 21 days, they used to, and that's why it is like, oh, in 21 days, we can change the habit. But what's happened, but they took out lenses, they shifted back and everything is normal, even for 1 day. And when they put back, they have to relearn from beginning. So if you want to change the habit, you have to do it at least for 90 days. Because some people might take it even longer. You will know when you changed it. If you like get on a diet and you have good habits for 21 days and then you have this piece of cake, you want to back to what you had before. You have to make it your habit. It's not about 21 days and then it's fine. You have to make it your life, your new life.
Well, that sounds sort of to me like extra hard work because so I'm doing it and I'm doing it for 21 days and then I eat the piece of cake or I make the decision from the past and then I'm all the way back to the beginning. Isn't there momentum that gets built up? Like, so it's not a snap all the way back. It's a step back maybe, or you're halting and then you continue.
So what I can say, this is a process that sometimes we stop in a moment. This is kind of like the way I don't have exact date when it works.
Right.
So I told from the experiment that was made on the contact lenses, and I'm making an example from it. What I can tell you, if you work and, for example, you have a resolution, New Year or whatever, that you do something from today, tomorrow, and you start and then one day you stop, you have to make a new decision that next day I'm doing it again. When you remember that you forgot, and you have to do this decision every time until it is built in you. Because when you're trying to implement new habit, it is something hard for you to do because you never did it before. Would you agree it is easy to lie down on a couch and not to do exercises? If you want to do exercises in your routine, you have to make every day until it gets into your routine. Every day, make a decision to do exercises.
Well, there are studies, okay, that the power of visualization. So it's about that feeling sense, right? That I remember the first one that used to get reported was the basketball players. And so one set practiced their free throws and the other ones actually just visualized their free throws. And the guys that just visualized their free throws had a higher percentage of success in the game. So than the ones that were practicing. And I think it depends on what you're doing. If you're, from my perspective, it's what you're feeling regarding it. So if you're even taking the action, but you're begrudgingly taking the action to get towards your goal, it's like a sense you're carrying this energy of doubt with you because you're like, I'm doing it, but it's so hard or whatever, like it's dragging you down. Whereas you may not be as concentrated in your action, but your belief, your feeling is so strong, it just occurs. Like I've had some of those experiences happen for me. Like I remember as a child seeing this, I don't know, a TV show, like a documentary on Africa. And I remember, I don't know how old I was, but I decided at that point, I was like, I want to go to Africa. And then later on as a teenager, I had the thought, I want to get a foster child in Africa because one day I'll go visit them. And then it was just in one weekend, it was decision. Okay, it's over. Work is finished. Career's done. You're toast. We're leaving this world behind. You're off to Africa. And so it wasn't like I made any plans or I took any action. They were all very sort of spontaneous things. And then I went. So how do you explain stuff like that?
Well, I first think when I come back to the basketball thing, and this is come back, it's not only about the actions, it is about thinking, feeling, and action. So if you just do the actions, I totally agree with you. It doesn't give you like anything because sometimes you might take actions that actually don't lead where you want to go. And when you have these feelings and thoughts, you start to generate ideas that will tell you, oh, actually, if you change this action in this way, it will help you more. So when you are aligned with everything, you get more how to actually make it even more productive. So does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally. Yep. Yeah.
So about the things, what you said, that I believe if you want to change something, you need to make a decision. So until you make a decision that you're going to Africa, it is not happening.
Okay.
I believe that probably in your life, it was showing that you have to do it. And when it was showed first time in your life, in child, you can do that even as a child, but you just didn't focus, that you didn't make a decision when you're going. You know at some point it will happen. You agreed with you and you just leave it out. And then it showed up your second time and third time, and then third time you made a decision and you went for that. And I think it's happening a lot with people. We come in here like with blueprint, what we have to do in life. And when we discover our blueprint and we follow, everything aligns and it is easy. I'm not saying you wouldn't struggle by learning new things, but you will feel inside easy that you're on the right path. So, and when you are aligned and then you make decisions accordingly with this blueprint, everything happens. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's great. So what would you, for in the last year, right, what has been the most noticeable shift for yourself?
I become aware about the things what I am doing not right, and I know how to shift them. I used to be very, like, I still do, I'm impulsive at some points, and I always argue with people. No, I know that I'm right, but I become aware that everyone, they're in their own world and we can see differently, and it doesn't mean that the second person doesn't see my point and that he's wrong. So it's kind of like focusing, I know what I have, and I allow other people to think in their way, and then coming. So it is more peaceful and better to feel that everyone has their own right in the way. It's just like we can look at the same thing from different points. Yeah. I can show you a back of book and you can see I see the back here front, and we're talking about different things.
Right. So. No, that is huge. I mean, you know, that there's that saying, would you rather be happy or right? Right?
Yeah.
I would have been a lot like you in previous years, the same thing, wanting to prove that my way or what I was thinking really was the truth, so to speak. And it's exactly, or I feel exactly the way you do, is that every single person has the opportunity to follow their inner guidance and create the life that makes them happy and excited, whether that's just comes forth and pulls them in joy. And that's that part that it's easier to take action, I find, when they're in alignment with what comes through them. Because my experience has been too that I can manifest things that may not be for my highest and best good, but I can still manifest them. But it is usually, so something comes and then there's an issue after. Whereas if I can just get present to what comes through me and allow that to be manifested, it's more joyous and it's more fun, and it's just more freeing. Just like this party. Like, I mean, heck, it was not my idea. Like, it just came to me, and then I was the open sort of vessel to say, okay, you tell me what needs to do and where do I go? And I just trusted whatever I felt like, and reached out to you and everybody else. And now here we are.
And thank you. I'm really enjoying that.
So, being respectful, really, allowing everybody to be present to what they see, the different perceptions. And do you think then anything is possible?
I think anything is possible, because what we think, and I'm not talking about the thinking mind, what we think inside, if we can do that, we can. If we think that we cannot, we cannot. We're absolutely right about everything what we think. And then we have to just move into action about that.
So have you noticed that your enthusiasm about moving forward has impacted those around you, possibly in both ways? Or has it all been just good?
So the people who are reaching out and I talk to, I share the ideas, and there are people who don't want to listen. So, and then it's kind of like you cannot reach out. And I totally understand, because they have their own thing. And I wouldn't say that it is bad, because they decide to listen or to not.
Right.
And there are people who are willing to listen and they want to know. And I'm like up to leading people with increase every time when I talk to them. This is my purpose. So if I do that, it's a different thing, but this is what I try to do every time. And I hope that every person with whom I speak, they take out from that, they use something. Well, it is up to them if they use it or not. And I can tell, like, from my partner is actually totally different. He has a different opinion. He's just watching what is happening. He didn't like to take actions. So, and I'm totally fine with that now, but it wasn't like that. I like to make an energy and do stuff and then involve him and things like that. But what I started to realize, he's seeing me, what I do, how I talk, what I say, and like what things I teach to people. And sometimes I noticed that he started to shift too.
Yes.
He says things that actually like, oh my God, it feels like I was teaching him, but I didn't do anything.
Right.
So I think when you're around and people see the energy, they pick that up. And I love that when it's happening, even when you don't do that in purpose.
Yeah, no, it's like your enthusiasm and your intention and your conviction is like this higher vibration that is resonating in the area. And some people will, it's almost like shining a light into a room, right? Some will move away from that light because they don't want it, like a bug running in the corner. And others are just drawn to it and they want more because they're feeling that passion that you have, which is just beautiful. It truly is. So how have you noticed a difference with raising your daughter compared to the way you were raised?
Oh, I think it is different. So I cannot remember when I was small. My daughter is only 5 months. But how I was raised is thinking on what we have now. And if you don't have now, you cannot have more. I had a talk with my mom when I was 17. It was 16 maybe. So it was like the last year of high school and I have to go to university and knew I want to be a scientist. I'm going to study chemistry and it is in like 300 kilometers away. And this is the only place I'm applying, nothing else. And I'm starting talking and later on I will go to abroad. I will probably live in France and stuff like that. And then I said, well, I will give you 2 pencils for birthday present, one to roll the upper lip and one to roll the bottom lip. Because there is a Russian saying, if you want too much, then your lip is hanging and then you have to roll it. So, so for her was so outrageous that I was talking. I was the eldest kid from 3 kids and we didn't have enough money. So I can live in a house. They could support me, but not giving extra money for travel and living somewhere else.
Right.
And for her, it was like, oh my God, you thinking too much? Just come on the ground. Well, the thing is actually manifested. Something happened. My dad got a job in city nearby and he got a flat that we could live and I don't have to think about the money and have to work at night, which was my plan, sort of, for if something doesn't happen. So I think it's when you believe everything happens. And now, because kids till 2 years, they don't have conscious mind. They have only subconscious. And everything, what you say, talk, and bring, they absorb it. And you can see, my daughter said, Tata, just because my partner was talking to her, Tata all the time. You repeat, and they bring it out. If you say, we don't have money, or if you fight in the house, the child is raised in this environment, and this is what is in their programming. This is how they see relationship, and when they will build, they probably have fights too, and they might don't know that it actually happens while they were small. And you can change it by actually bringing in ideas and talking and sending the vibrations. You might talk good things, but if you think not in the right way, they can feel it. So always try to send the good vibrations and like talk. You can do anything what you want. Right. You are amazing human being. You just came here, but you absolutely can do anything. So
yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of people that have recognized that it's the stuff that was said to them or the experiences that they had when they were kids, and it's just that it's an experience. When you bring awareness to it, you can let go of that pattern and step forward easier to trusting your new direction. You know, it's easier to travel light on a trip than to take 3 suitcases with you. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
sometimes sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So sometimes it is hard to change this pattern because they are so deep inside and it's not because someone told you one thing, but it's because something was repeated. And the thing that I remember, my mom said it once, but it was built on everything else what I experienced, that I saw that there is no money, extra money to do things, not only about education. And it is kind of staying there until you choose to remove this and put new thing and decide that this is just a memory, because you cannot like totally forget memory, just a memory, but nothing that kind of, you don't get emotionally involved with that. This is what you want to. You want to remove emotion away from the thing. And this is when you remove the luggage and you are free without suitcases.
Well, I kind of like to think about it as if you're planning a trip, right? And if you know your final destination, even if you're going on a detour, you realize you're going to get to your final destination. There's that sense of conviction that you're going there. The person that maybe starts the new habit, as we were talking about earlier, as soon as there gets to be a little detour, an obstacle, a bump in the road, if they don't have that determination to stay with the plan to get to the vision, right, of their journey, they're probably ones that are going to say, oh, that didn't work.
Absolutely true.
Right?
Absolutely. I always say to people, you need to know only two things in order to succeed in anything you want. You need to know where you are at now, and then where you want to go, and then go there. So, and you focus on where you want to go. You focus and you do steps. You don't need to know how to get there. You do the first step that you see, and you see second, third, and fifth, and then you are there at your destination. And you're not successful by reaching it. You are successful by going and growing every day. And a lot of people, they start to do things, they see this vision, and then vision is not there. They focused on where they are. What is like here, what is missing, what they cannot do, why they cannot do. And then this is when they come back. And it is a work until you actually make it that you always focus on a vision. And people who always succeeded in any part of their life, they focused on what they want. They were obsessed. Right. Imagine Wright brothers who first time made fly. They were focused on making it, getting into air. They didn't care that people were thinking that they're crazy and they cannot do that because no one did it before. They were crazy with the idea. So they just focused on that, and that's why they succeeded. If they would be focusing on people talking around, we probably wouldn't have airplanes.
Yeah.
It would be very sad.
Well, I think that's what's going on now. Is you look out in the cloud, in the internet, right? Everybody can present themselves in their own unique manner. And you really do have the ability to be creative and inspire what's in your heart if you trust it and take steps in moving towards that. It might happen quickly or it might happen over a period of time, but at least you're moving in that direction. Versus, believing what sort of the discontenters are saying about this, the standard way of doing things. Well, you can stay in that job, as I'm sure you heard when you did the multi-level marketing, that just over broke, right? Just do this one little thing, or you could stand a new opportunity. The options are all there, but it's being able to trust what you feel inside to be, which is the right step for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I can say about the jobs, and some people will say, what I don't want to be an entrepreneur, and it is totally fine because everyone comes with a different blueprint, what they need to do in life and what makes them happy. Someone might be happy to be millionaire, and someone is happy with 20,000 a year. So it is about understanding what makes you happy, how much is your financial freedom, how much do you want. And sometimes what's happening, people think, well, actually, I don't need so much, and they lower their standard. You can get anything by understanding how much you want and then focusing on that and reaching by doing what you love. It is, I see people someday, they want to be wealthy and how I can make money. I said, no, stop it. You're not thinking about how to make money. You think how you want to live, what you want to do. And then by doing this, how you can make money, how you can actually not make money, how you can help people, because when you're helping people, serving people, you are paid for the services. It might be that you are just a bus driver, you like drive buses, you earn some money, but then you think an idea, well, actually I can own buses, and in my free time when I want, I can drive one. So I do something when I want, what I like, and then I have something extra. So it's all the focusing what you want, and then it unfolds what actually is your purpose.
So do you work with your clients then to create like vision boards too?
I don't. So, well, if they want to, they can create. It's more like there is a blueprint in order how to get through the program. And the one first is about goal establishing, looking if they're setting the right goals, what kind of, how the lawful process works. So it's more about understanding how works the mind. And then when you understand what is not working, what the programs you carry back from your past that you can change, this is when it starts to work. And obviously you learn, you understand, and then you apply in your life by doing connection.
So how does somebody get a hold of you, Inara?
So they can find me on a website, successfulfrombirth.com, or I have a page as well on Facebook, Successful From Birth, and they can message me. They can see some of my videos, and if they want to talk, I do some free consultations in order to show where they are at and how I can help them. And if this is the way that I can help them, I suggest to go through my program.
And so you actually have, is the program a 90-day program? Because when you mentioned before about it's a 90 days to change a habit, so is it a 90-day program?
No, it is a 6-month program.
Ah, it's a 6-month program. Yeah. That's awesome. I guess you're guaranteed to have success if you're doing it for 6 months, right?
Yeah, if person I forgot this word. If person is doing in repetition everything how it is formed in a program, they will have a massive quantum leap by the end of the program. If you do it in repetition,
massive quantum leap. Just repeat that, everybody.
Massive quantum leap.
So that's what's gonna. If they do the program, right, they'll have a massive quantum leap. And if they don't, because you can't control that, you know, they'll stay where they are. But that sounds inspiring.
The thing is, it all depends what kind of results you get, how much you put in. You can listen, you can do exercises, but you don't involve your mind while you do. You can do it in every day, but if you're not involved, you don't put in, you get some results. You definitely do, but they are not so substantial. When you put in and you focus on that, this is when it happens. So you can read even self-help book and benefit from that greatly. And I'm telling you, but it is about most of the people read the book, put it on a shelf, and that's it. They know some ideas, they stay for a while, and then they get out. It is applying the things into life. And the way what I have is a roadmap, actually, how to do step by step by changing few things, 1 second and more.
Right.
So, and then it brings into life.
Yeah, that's basically been the trend of the personal development area, right? Because for 20 years almost, they just talked about it, and then they realized there's so many people that read the books and did it, but they never had the results. So now the trainers of the trainers are going back and saying, hey, it's more than just reading the book or coming to our lecture, right? We really got to kind of hold your hand past this 21 days and get you moving down the journey to success.
Well, I can tell that I don't know about everyone absolutely, but I was doing programs by myself, like with the different coaches, and they're great, and they are formed in order to bring the habit, and you can change it, but it is kind of a forceful way because you're just trying to impress it without putting the 2 levels. So it is just by changing habit, just by doing actions. And most of the programs are formed in this way, which is good too. But as you said, if you just do the free pointers without thinking and feeling that you're doing, you wouldn't be so great. So this program is actually to bring all these 3 levels, and this is what is creating quantum leap, not just by doing actions. You understand, you think, you feel, you act, and this is how it brings everything together.
I can see it. I mean, you radiate it, you believe it, you're totally convinced of it, and anybody that I'm sure is working with you that is open to following you and like just having you guide them, be that lighthouse for them, is going to be successful from birth.
Yes, we all are. We just need to find our path. What is our success?
That's great. So we're going to wish everybody their success, and I love that. Successful from birth. We just tap in and tune in and follow what's in our heart and step forward and have the courage to go after it. You'll have that same passion and conviction here like Inara. And, create things like this idea of a global party where it just falls together and everybody comes together as a greater whole to unify and be that stand for transformation, healing from the inside out. So I thank you for being with us. And I look forward to connecting and doing more things with you in the future.
Thank you for inviting me. It was really nice to talk to you and share with everyone.
You have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.